Yo, what's up, everybody? Got my boy here, Jason, once again. Thank you for tuning in. Um, you know, thank you for tuning in because I'm sure you're probably not feeling well. I'm not feeling well. Jason's not feeling well. It's
Mhm,
not sickness, though. We're just mentally drained on what the season has become.
mhm,
It's just one of those years where it was a revenge tour. We're going back to the bowl. We're gonna get the revenge on the Chiefs because they're probably coming out of the AFC.
mhm.
2020 said, "Nah, fam, that's not going down here. We're not gonna let that happen." So week 14 was a loss to the Washington football team. They beat the other football team that was on the field yesterday. So the final score, as you see on the bottom, 23-15. We want to get into it. Maybe ease your mind just a little bit going into the end of this season, draft season, and then next year. Um, there was a lot more bads than goods, but the goods, as you can see from the top, is Brandon Ayuk. That kid's a stud, right?
Yeah, you have to gravitate to the positives first, right? So the first thing that you do during a crisis, do you gravitate to the negative, or do you gravitate to the positive? Even after everything that occurred last night, the first thing that came to my mind at the end of that game was, oh my God, Brandon Ayuk is legit. The 49ers have a wide receiver one. So if there's any
Right.
sort of doubt or anything like that. I mean, like the point that I've been trying to make about Ayuk is that, day one, he stepped on the field. He's the man. I'm open. Don't matter who's on me. I'm open. And it's not a stretch to say that he's probably the best receiver the 49ers have had. And even with just the small sample size since like Owens. Oh, there it is. Yeah, it's right there in the it's right there in the comments. Yeah. So yeah, I mean that has to be what people are excited about today. With all the
Right.
talk about who whatever is going to be the quarterback, at least for once the 49ers have a wide receiver one who can get open against anyone. Can't believe it.
Yeah, and the thing is, you look at the stat sheet. I always say stats tell half the story. You look at it and you go, wow, he had a good game, a great game, 10 receptions, 119 yards. That could have been like 175, 180
Dude,
if he was able to be hit in stride. I think there was about three passes that just sailed to where Ayuk could have got in, done something with it. He could have been in the 200s this game.
dude.
Uh, not, not,
16
not,
targets. 16 targets. If you tell me that Brandon Ayuk's getting 16 targets in a game, I say that he's got a buck 75, two tutties. Like he went crazy, man. Like even 10 for 119. That's basically giving you an average of what 11 yards per. That's even like, come on.
Yeah, and Kyle Shanahan just had his press conference about the other receiver he talked about, Debo Samuel. Smart. He's gonna miss the rest of the regular season, the final three games.
Yeah,
Smart. He said if they got in the playoffs, he'll be back. As you can see from the title here, it's time. Uh, call call the fight. Was it?
Close.
Yeah. So let's just be real. Mock draft season. It's time to get
Yeah,
into that.
yeah.
I hate saying that because I've done it for almost my whole life when it came towards the 49ers since I
You
was
weren't
born
expecting
in.
it to do it. You weren't
Yeah,
expecting to do it now.
no, not at all. Last year, I don't even think I looked at a mock draft until after the Super Bowl. I want to say,
Mm,
I regular season didn't even bother touching it. I had to like refresh myself from who are the potential first round prospects. Now I kind of pretty refreshed on that, and it's I know who everybody is. And after week 7, I kind of already started diving into mock drafts because you could tell based on the amount of injuries. For everyone that's plugged in on Twitter, Periscope, I know it's pretty trash. So you may be in, you may be out, we may get
It's
buffered.
weird. Like you have to be on Wi-Fi. You have to be off of Wi-Fi
Yes.
sometimes. So I would always check that. Like if you're having issues and you're in the house, then check if you're on the Wi-Fi. If you're having issues on the Wi-Fi, then get off it. If you're having issues without it, then get on it. I guess that's
Yeah,
the.
exactly. So basically, what I'm going to say is just go on YouTube, plug in Tapped In Sports. Hey, if you gotta go do the dishes real quick, you could just pause us and then jump right back in. So that's probably what I would recommend. Periscope's not gonna allow you to pause anything. You're kind of stuck if you gotta go do something. So I would recommend just type in Tapped In Sports on YouTube.
Yep.
And so to get back on, it's Debo Samuel. That it sucks. It's everyone wanted to see him come out and have a big sophomore year, considering he got so close to the receiving yards record last year with the 49ers. Um, But Brandon Ayuk came on. That didn't help out his numbers. His injuries didn't help out his numbers, but he'll be back next year. Year
Mhm.
3, he'll be back, and I'm confident because I think there'll be an upgrade at quarterback.
Okay.
I think,
That's the optimistic look. Okay.
yeah, because how I look at it, this is something I spoke with Grant Cohn about. It's uh, Jimmy's done for not the rest of this year, but he's done with the 49ers.
Yeah, I
Because
think we've
if you
seen him take his
remember,
last snap. Yeah.
you remember Mostert's press conference. I don't think it's just the high ankle sprain. Oh, if it's not just the high ankle sprain, then what is it? I think it's Jimmy's camp is saying, all right, if he's not part of your future and you guys aren't in the playoffs, we're just going to hold him. We're going to
That's
hold him so that he goes back to his new team healthy. If you're in
right.
the playoffs, he's going to be there for his guys. He's going to fight with his guys to make the playoffs, to advance in the playoffs. But if that's not the situation, we're going to hold off on our guy and, have him be healthy for next season. And that's what I see out of Mostert's. It's more than the high ankle sprain.
Right.
Just 2 weeks ago, Kyle Shanahan said he's hopeful to have Jimmy Garoppolo and George Kittle back. On Monday, John Lynch was saying that, he's seeing positives that these guys will be back on the field soon. And now he's not practicing. He's not confident that Jimmy will be back. So that's why I say I think there'll be an upgrade. Whether
Right.
it's Stafford's just hard to say,
Yeah.
or Zach Wilson. Because when we look at upgrade, when I say that, I'm saying it based on Nick Mullins, not necessarily Jimmy Garoppolo, because
Mhm.
Jimmy Garoppolo didn't get much reps with Deebo Samuel this year. So whoever is the quarterback for the 49ers next year, granted, if it's even freaking Fitzpatrick, that's still an upgrade over Deebo Samuel having Nick Mullins.
Yeah, and I think with the Jimmy thing, like I think we have seen his last snap with us, and we kind of talked about it when it happened, right, on your show, like if the 49ers are in position to do something, he'll be there. But I agree with this being a complete business move because one of two things, right?
Yep.
If you're gonna move off the guy, you got to make sure that he's healthy, right? Don't put him in any risk. But also, I think the thing that is the real key here and why the 49ers should be less hesitant to just throw him out there is there's somebody out there right now that believes that he is fixable. Not that
Yep.
or that they can get more out of him, right? Like that they you know what he has? He has the ankle, right? This whole year he has that. Some evaluator will say, yeah, he was banged up all year. The O-line was playing like crap. He was missing his weapons. Somebody listen, if Brock Osweiler can get traded for in this league and get a deal, then anything, and I know Jimmy Garoppolo is better than him. Somebody is going to think that they can get something from Jimmy Garoppolo, and that's my point. So I understand, so if he goes out there and let's say he throws up 2 stinkers, you've completely killed any shot of getting rid of him in any sort of trade, right? You keep his stock where it is because there are evaluators that are out there right now that are like, you know what, let me get my hands on him. You know what? Yeah, he messed up this year because he's all hurt, but yes, man, I understand completely on both sides why you wouldn't want to do this. Jimmy's camp shouldn't want him to play, and Kyle and them shouldn't be on the side of playing that, So I'm completely good with that, and I think that they're doing the exact same thing. Can we start Johnson already to get a preview? No. See, here's the thing. Okay, guys, look. All right.
Oh, you're going no with Johnson.
Look. I think there's a misconception in what we're talking about with mobile. Okay, we're not talking mobile Kyler Murray. We are talking mobile maneuver in the pocket. Josh Johnson is not a preview of whatever is in the draft, guys. Come on.
Yeah, that I agree with. He is not a preview to Zach Wilson. He's not one of those. He's not that fast. He can move around the pocket a little quicker than Nick Mullins. Like, that's not very hard to do, first off. So there's a preview of a more athletic quarterback, we could say, but not really mobile. Colin Kaepernick was mobile. Josh Johnson, I wouldn't feel confident to say he was even Alex Smith when Alex Smith was a 49er mobile. I'm not sure if he's even that.
No, I mean, well, see, but Alex Smith at least has the pocket awareness, right? Again, we're not talking about mobile. It's about knowing where to move in the pocket to be able to create throws for yourself. it can't be so cut and dry. And we're going to get into it. It can't be so cut and dry that your linemen have to block every single second for you until you figure out where you want to go. That's not how this works. You guys both have your duties. You have your duty to block. You have your duty to get the ball out on time, so that man isn't left on the island, whoever it is, guarding whoever it is for 4 and 5 seconds. So
Right.
that's the thing, with it more than anything. Josh Johnson doesn't Josh Johnson doesn't show me anything that's in the draft that's going to show you what the future of this team will be. I think
Right.
that if you go Josh Johnson, then you're fully committing to the tank. Like, you are basically telling everybody, "Yep, we want to lose every single game." And whatever, if that's what you want to do, that's what you want to do. I don't make those decisions. But Josh Johnson's not going to give us any sort of glimpse of what's down the line. I don't see that at all.
No, and plus, if everyone wants Josh Johnson because he gives this team a better chance to win, then why the hell would you play him? Because at this point, even if you go 3-0, playoffs are probably not even going to happen. So you just stick with Nick Mullins and use Josh Johnson as maybe a better passing scout QB for Kyler Murray, opposed to having Jet McKinnon back there. Um, but you stick with Mullins. Beathard, it tells me that he's just that bad that Shanahan won't even go to CJ Beathard.
Hmm.
That's very telling to me. So even yesterday, I was preaching for. I was like, put CJ in. But then when you think about it, what is CJ really going to do that Nick Mullins can't?
I mean,
Yeah,
I think you pointed it.
he has a bigger arm, but
Yeah.
is he going to be accurate to hit those on Brandon Ayuk down in stride field?
But I think you
Probably
point to
not.
the end of that you point to the end of that Eagles game when CJ actually looked pretty good, like, and he like got them pretty close, like, at the end there. So maybe that's something that would have happened. Like, all they really, it's so crazy for this game to finish with an 8-point deficit. That's one scoring drive. So I
Right.
mean, if you make the move, if you make the move, I don't want to get angry thinking about this game because the second and third quarter, I don't want to use hyperbole, but the second and third quarter of offense this week was some of the worst football I've ever seen played by a 49ers team. And I think it becomes more frustrating when you realize the level of talent at some of the positions as well, too. And I'm not just talking about Nick Mullins.
Mm-hmm.
Nick Mullins made bad plays, he turned the ball over. Kendrick Bourne dropped the ball. Kendrick Bourne's false starts. Trent Williams false starts. Jeff Wilson fumble. Like this, the second and third quarter were disgusting. They were gross. It was gross. They touched the ball 2 times in the third quarter, ended with a punt and a pick six. They touched the ball how many times in the second quarter and finished with 37 total yards, had more turnovers than they did. I think it was like first downs. It all goes to offensive execution. Like I said, I didn't want to get, super mad, but I am mad. That was pathetic. Pathetic. So you had to make that move. Watching that happen, you had to make that move at halftime. CJ, let's get you some throws and get you going and get you rolling and boom. But no, and that's my issue, I think.
So right here, worst Mullins game in his career outside of the Eagles game. Was this worse than the Eagles game though?
I think it's the same thing. I think that in terms of winnable games, that's what he might mean. Like a game where like Mullins is the direct reason, because I don't want to hear anything about the defense. Anybody who says anything about the defense in this game is getting thrown out of here. Like, like we're not talking to you. Okay. I don't want to hear anything about Kyle Shanahan's play calling. Okay. Because the film just came out and I just got mad 10 times at how many guys were wide open, weren't seen, overthrown. Yeah, Kyle's
Right.
doing a terrible job of play calling, man. He definitely has to make sure that those throws get thrown right to the right place and that the receiver catches it too. You guys are totally right, on Twitter. So it's like, man, like that's what makes me so frustrated about these 2 quarters back to back. They were infuriating. It was horrible. Look, all the credit to Washington's defense. They have got some studs. But my goodness,
Right.
how many of these were just self-inflicted? Like, that's the worst part.
Right. And that's kind of where I say this may be a little worse than the Eagles game, because yeah, the Eagles was closer in the end, but that second quarter was just so dramatically bad on all parts. It's Nick Mullins continuously overthrowing people, dropped passes. That's not really on Nick Mullins, but sometimes ball placement, maybe. I would have to go back and watch every single drop pass to
Mm,
see if the ball placement is correct or if it's truly on the wide receiver.
yeah,
Because that timing also screws it up too. Because if the receiver is looking for the ball at point A, the ball's not there at point A, and the
right.
quarterback hits them, on point C, where the wide receiver is already thinking about, freelancing somewhere to get open for the quarterback, then that's a
Mhm.
different story.
Mhm.
But from what I've seen, Kendrick Bourne, his looked like straight up drops at that point, and it's Kendrick Bourne has been someone to be kicking and screaming that it's at least off the record. Hey, these quarterbacks I should be, here and
Yeah.
here and here this season statistically, but because of these quarterbacks, I'm not, and it's really pissing me off.
Mhm.
Well, dude, if you're gonna be saying that behind closed doors, catch the damn ball.
Right.
I like Kendrick Bourne a lot. I really do. He was in the little countdown video. I remember he was number 6, so I wanted to throw him in. I like him a lot. But when you play like that, I'm going to hold you accountable no matter who
Yeah.
you are. And Kendrick Bourne is someone who should be held accountable because the false start,
Right.
the,
Drops are one
like
thing. The
like
false
like
start.
3 drop passes. Like if you give me a drop one every quarter, all right. But if you're giving me a drop on every single possession for 3 straight possessions, it's like, dude, why are you in the game? You're obviously mentally not here today. I'm gonna
Right.
put somebody in who's more mentally here than you are.
And you just saw it last night, right, with Deontay Johnson. Mike Tomlin, went and benched him the rest of the first half because he leads the league in drops. And it's when do you send the message, right? Like, can you send the message? And that's the thing. I think we've talked about it. Certain people get like literally thrown in the doghouse for one little thing. Certain people can mess up, and Kyle's good. You just keep going back to him. It's so weird. It just depends on
Yeah.
who he's feeling. And then a little bit more to your point about quarterback play, man. Like again with Brandon Ayuk, man, like when you have a quarterback who sees somebody running down the seam in a cover 3 and he's wide open, for you to throw the ball and for Brandon Ayuk to have to stop his entire momentum, which literally causes him to slide across the field trying to come back to the ball, you don't have the arm strength to even hit that simple seam throw on cover 3. There's a lot of issues going on with quarterback, man. And again, I'm not trying to pile on Nick Mullins. I get mad when there's normal throws that are missed. Okay. I understand contested throws. I understand maybe throws that are out of your
Right.
realm. But when they give you those easy throws, stop telling me that Nick Mullins is a computer. Stop telling me that he's the smartest guy on this. I don't care. Rip the damn throw when guys are wide open. I am sick of it, man. If I'm mad, just like you said about Kendrick Bourne, I'm certain that almost every single 49ers receiver feels the same exact way. Behind closed doors, in his face, whatever. Jordan Reed is fed up.
Oh yeah,
Jordan
he is.
Reed is fed up, man.
Oh yeah.
I have never seen somebody in 3 straight games completely just like lose it on on attempts towards them.
Oh, man. I feel like you could play a drinking game with Jordan Reed. Every time you see him get pissed off, shot,
Yep.
chug, chug.
Yep.
That's what it is, and it's fair. Like when you are in the NFL, there's certain expectations. No matter if you're a starter, backup, or just a reserve guy that got called up for game day, there's certain expectations on where you should execute. A lot of the times, Jordan Reed is getting pissed off. It's not. He's just throwing a fit. It's no matter if you're a starter or a backup, those throws they should be made, not or at least have an opportunity to catch the ball.
Right.
There was a lot of passes yesterday to where Jordan Reed and Brandon Ayuk, those two mainly, didn't even have an opportunity to catch it because if it was way off target. So when I see him get fed up in that reason, yeah, that's fair. I would get fed up too if I'm losing a game and the pass is 10 yards away from me because that means I didn't have a chance to catch it. If you throw off target, fine. But if I have an opportunity to jump, dive, move lateral, okay, I had that opportunity. But if I'm not getting that, then what the fuck?
Dude,
is basically what I look at that.
Even the first drive, right? I think it was the first drive. Who the hell made that diving catch over the middle of the field and basically saved a bad throw? Like, I think it was. I think it might have been KB actually, like where he like laid
KB
out for the ball.
Yep.
Yeah,
Like Eric Crocker was like, "Don't ever talk to me about KB. He rarely drops the ball." Blah blah blah. And I felt bad for that. He just like went on it for Eric Crocker, and then all of a sudden he just like dropped every pass besides the 2-point conversion.
I'm the same way. I gotta kind of stay away from live tweeting other people's games because as soon as I say something, literally it doesn't age well a few minutes later, and people are not shy in letting you know. But yeah, I mean, I think that throw. Even remember we talked about like the first drive, and the first drive is always scripted, and it's always easy throws to get you in motion, right? So yeah, we didn't score on the first drive, but at least they moved the ball a little bit where you were like, okay, even after Debo left the game, right? Like I think that took the air out of the complete game. Like I hate to make excuses or anything like that, but for you to have the first touch of the game go to Debo and then Debo gets hurt, it's hard not to know that all those guys worked all week knowing that Debo's going to be the guy. And it's like, okay, now we're completely off script. Toss the game plan on. Now we got to try to figure it out and piece it together. Like, I don't want to make excuses, but I think Debo Samuel getting hurt on the first play of the game perfectly encapsulates what this season has been. And as soon as you see him throw off the gloves and the helmet, I knew he was done for the year because he knows. He knows exactly what grabbed. And when it's hamstrings, it's like that. And he knows the team situation. So I knew he wasn't coming back. Like, literally, someone asked, well, does he come back? I was like, if the 49ers lose this game, he's not coming back. He's not coming back. That's it. So,
right. And with this comment here is,
okay.
I'm going to say it's not just Grant. It's a lot of the narrative on Twitter. It's Nick Mullins is a backup. What do you guys expect?
Keep talking. I can hear you. I just got to dip real quick.
Yeah, he's a backup. You know, what are you guys expecting from him? He's not a starter. It's not just Grant saying that. It's a lot of people saying that. But I don't take it to the length to defend Nick Mullins because when you're entered in as a starter, I'm going to critique you on a fair level. And a lot of those passes from Nick Mullins, it's passes that a backup should make. Now, he does make some that are just fantastic, but for the most case, it's not that. And I don't feel like I should give anyone a free, just be nice to them and not critique them just because they're a backup. No, if you're stepped up in that role, I'm going to grade you towards, where you should be. I'm going to hold that expectation for you as a backup. But then once you just start dipping way, way, way far down than that, then it's like, okay, I'm going to give you, the whole bag. Like, dude, what the hell? But if you're a backup and you make about 3 errant throws, but then say 5 other were like dimes, well, now the balance is you have more dimes than errant. Like, I cannot critique you for those 3s because you're not a starter in this league, and now you have a +2 on your throw. Basically, that's how I look at it. And with Nick Mullins, game in, game out, seems to be more negatives than positives. So if you're more negatives than positive, I'm just going to say you're not very good. Right. I'm not going to sugarcoat it just because you're a backup.
Right. And for the I'm sorry that I keep harping on this. For the Kyle is not play calling well, not in his bag. Let me put you in the shoes of a play caller, right? You call the perfect play. The guy's wide open. The throw is there, and the guy misses it. Once he misses one of those easy throws, what sort of confidence do you have in running anything a little bit more complicated in that game, anything like that? Once you miss the layup, why am I going to give you the fast break? Are you kidding me, man? Like, I don't like, so like, again, I don't know what I woke up on this morning because I think I saw it was like maybe 1 or 2 tweets, but when I saw that, like, I lost it. I'm just like, dude, I watched that game last night over again, and I watched it again today. For anybody to actually say anything bad about Kyle Shanahan at this point, like, I just don't understand what you're watching or what you expect, right? You want him to throw the ball to the guy exactly where it needs to be or get it out on time too? Like, goodness gracious, man. You guys are taking the word genius all the way to a new level, man. Again, watch. You know what I saw too? Watch a coach throw his arms up every single time there's a bad throw still. This isn't something that is just like, oh, it's this week. Dude, imagine your confidence. Yo, bring Javi in. Imagine your confidence, right, in any of your play calls when it comes to, hey, let me pick this dime play call out when you can't even execute the single reads. And I think another thing that kind of pissed me off was people were talking about rookie quarterbacks and they can't handle the system. Here's what I'll say. There's nothing to handle. This offense has been stripped back in a way where there's no sort of crazy reads. The throws are all there in front of you. Why wouldn't a rookie be able to do all of those things off of play action the same exact way when they're not even asking quarterbacks to read the field? Do you guys know that there's certain concepts that the quarterback's supposed to look and pick a side, and that's it? Once you pick one side, the other side is completely eliminated. There's no reads. You have to pre-snap diagnose. All of these things are simple ideas for quarterbacks. You make it seem like he's running this offense that is designed multiple reads. You have to work it down the field. All these throws are right in front of you. Anybody should be able to make these throws. And I think it goes back to what we were just talking about with you, with Nick. But this idea that a rookie quarterback, as much as I'm not like ready to throw a guy in there, couldn't execute this offense because it's too complex. Give me a break, man. Give me a break. I don't understand that part. To me, that signals people that don't understand Kyle's offense. You think Kyle likes doing all this? What are you talking about, dude? Why do you think that Atlanta was throwing it down the field? They had receivers, they had quarterbacks who were doing that. You think Kyle Shanahan's been running a stripped down version of this offense since he's got here. He has not been in his complete bag since Atlanta, and that includes last year. Rant over. I'm sorry, Leo. My bad.
Nah, I loved every single second of that. So basically, first year of Jimmy Garoppolo, very simplified version. Javi, I sent you the link. Javi. Hop on Twitter, by the way. So It's Garoppolo learned basically a simplified version of the playbook in what, 3 weeks, 4 weeks? Okay, so you bring in a rookie. You're telling me a rookie can't learn that simplified playbook in 3-4 months? Like, a rookie can succeed in this offense, and I'll continue to bang my hand on the table for that because you have Raheem Mostert, when healthy, fantastic. You have Brandon Ayuk. You have Deebo Samuel, when healthy. We all seen what he could do. You have George Kittle, when healthy, leads the NFL all-time receiving yards for a tight end in one single season. Trent Williams, outstanding. So, like, there's pieces, and I bring up Trent Williams because he's a left tackle. That's probably the one stable piece on the offensive line. Outside of center, I would say probably second. But left tackle, Trent Williams, you're giving a rookie an all-pro future Hall of Famer left tackle. And he's playing at a Pro Bowl level this year. He's had some cases to where I would say, okay, it's hard to say all-pro or whatever it may be, but he's still balling out. We've seen yesterday where he just annihilated someone on the first play of the game.
Yeah, but he left his feet too. So disrespectful, man. What was that for, Trent Williams? That was the first play of the game too. Why you got to do people like that? My bad. What up, bro?
Yeah, so it's like the foundation is built for no matter if it's a rookie, no matter if it's a year two, no matter if it's whoever besides Nick Mullins. That's the thing that we need to understand. It's this offense isn't, Nick Mullins isn't doing crazy things in this offense. Last year, Jimmy Garoppolo didn't do crazy things in this offense. So to say a rookie like Zach Wilson, say he can't do these things that Jimmy Garoppolo and Nick Mullins are doing is foolish. It's foolish.
Hi, Javi. You got anything to add? How are you, pal?
No, I think you guys hit it on the head. Absolutely. I'm tired of Twitter telling me I don't know shit because I don't have a blue check mark or I don't give you stats about certain things. Kyle Shanahan said it today in the press conference. When your backup quarterback is playing the majority of the year, they usually struggle. Surprise, Nick Mullins is an undrafted free agent. He is a backup for a reason. CJ Beathard as well. Like, set your expectations accordingly. Fans are getting mad at Kyle Shanahan because, Nick Mullins didn't do this, Nick Mullins do that. Sometimes guys are just maxed out, like as a developmental stage. Like, Nick Mullins has no elite traits. He has none. CJ Beathard has no elite traits. He has none. So you're not going to develop these just basic traits to make them into some type of, average to above average quarterback. And unfortunately, there's a subset on Twitter, or a subset on just social media, or even in just regular 49ers media that hyped up Nick Mullins to this point where he's getting a bad rap. That's not necessary. You shouldn't have done that. You should actually watch with your eyes and stop looking at these box scores because most of Nick Mullins' numbers come in garbage time. It's always garbage time with these numbers. And then for Fox and NBC and CBS to keep showing that dumbass graphic with Andrew Luck, Patrick Mahomes, and Nick Mullins, that's bullshit. This is why sometimes stats lie.
Politics.
Stats lie, and the politics are there. Roster politics exist. Now is Nick Mullins better than CJ Beathard? Yeah, probably. And that doesn't even matter to me though. Like, if you're having to play your backup quarterback, your season is fucked anyways. And if you're playing this much, your season is screwed. The season was over week 2. That's it. It was a wrap. You lose Nick Bosa, you lose Solomon Thomas. Jimmy gets hurt. For all the shit we all give Jimmy because we want him to play better. He's still your best option on your team, and
easily.
He's the one making the money. He's the one making the money. So of course he's going to be the guy who wins you 22 games. But he's also missed 20 now. You have 22 wins and you've missed 20. Like that's a problem. The Niners have a quarterback problem.
Yo, you know what I love? Matt Stafford's injury prone.
He's missed 8 games since 2011.
Jimmy's not. Right. Jimmy's not.
Yeah, like Matthew Stafford has missed 8 games since 2011. Stop talking to me. Like, and
it might be 9. It might be 9. We should pump the brakes on Stafford. It might be 9.
9.
Pump the
9.
brakes.
He's getting killed. He's getting killed into Detroit. He's got no help over there, and that's the thing. Like, elite quarterbacks are elite, yes, but a lot of them need help too. Aaron Rodgers needs Devontae Adams, right? Patrick Mahomes needs Tyreek Hill, Travis Kelce. Jimmy Garoppolo needs George Kittle, Brandon Ayuk, Deebo Samuel, but he also needs a defense, a run game, a head coach to make things right. It blows my mind, with some of these things that people were talking about. Oh, well, the offensive line is bad. It's not that bad. Nick Mullins is responsible for 6 pressures on his own yesterday. Yep. Why? Because he double clutches, he holds the ball too long, and these defensive linemen are getting home. And these guys are wide open. Throw the ball, Nick. Where's Grant when I need him? Like, come on. Like, what is this?
And then that's
hold on. But triple clutching.
But he's a computer, Javi. He processes information so fast. Why
he does not?
Again, about the politics. Where are these NBC stories coming from? They're all team driven. They're all trying to put a narrative out there for everybody to go. But anybody who watches understands that that's not true at all.
Exactly.
But God, I'm sorry, Leo.
There's a reason why there's more head coaches that are former backup quarterbacks than starting quarterbacks. Just because you know the playbook and it doesn't mean you can execute it.
Yeah.
So that's the thing with Nick Mullins. Yeah, he could be he is, according to probably Shanahan, the smartest quarterback in the quarterback room.
That's a problem.
Doesn't mean he's going to execute the plays.
Yeah.
That's still a problem, though. When he says that's a problem. That's not what we wanted to hear. Nobody wants to hear the backup quarterback is the smartest on this roster. That's a problem.
And part of that, though, is to like, if Nick is the smartest guy if he's the smartest quarterback in your quarterback room, that's an indictment on Jimmy Garoppolo because, from some people that I've talked to, it's always been mental with Jimmy Garoppolo. Like that has been the biggest issue. Yes, we understand his physical limitation, but you can work around those physical things. Mentally, can he turn his back to the defense and execute and, know where to go with the ball instead of throwing to the underneath defender? That's a mental thing from people that I've spoken to. That's a mental issue. That is where he didn't process it fast enough. And that's sometimes guys aren't meant for that. Sometimes guys are meant for certain systems. Jimmy might not be meant for this system. If he goes back to New England or if he goes to Chicago where they don't run a lot of that stuff, maybe he might excel there a little bit more. But from what this 49ers offense is, I heard you, Jason. There's a lot of pick a side. Go to that side, pick a side. And it's every week. If you look, all you do is turn on the tape. All 22 was free during the pandemic. Some of y'all should have went on there and watched.
That's what I did.
It was free 99, right? So that's what I did. And, I defended Jimmy Garoppolo all summer long. I didn't give a shit about the air yards or the completed air yards, the intended air yards. But after a while, you start to put the pieces together. Then you start watching defenses, and then you go to week 1, and you're like, wait a second. Why are the defenses so far close? Why are they so close to the line? Why are they baiting us to throw? Why is Tyrann Mathieu saying this? Why did Frank Clark say that? Why did Jimmy Garoppolo only get 8 passes in the NFC title game? There is reasons here. And then let me stop.
No, I mean, no, but it's really that though. That's the thing that I kind of get tired of because the thing that everybody yells about is where's the upgrade? Where's the upgrade? I'm not even asking for like high level quarterback.
I'm asking for a 10% increase in quarterback play.
I'm asking for competence, see the throw, make the throw, quarterbacking. I'm not even asking for Aaron Rodgers.
Look, and you know what? Jimmy's going to get credit for the Saints game because there were throws in that game that he made that were next level, right? And I'm not even talking about the pass to Emmanuel Sanders. I'm talking about the one where he put it right through the pinhole to Deebo when Deebo took the slant.
Oh, yeah. Deebo, well, Manny too. Manny had one of those where he threw right in between.
Exactly. Those are elite level throws. The problem is we don't get consistent elite level throws from Jimmy Garoppolo. right? You get credit for the Arizona game where Sanders comes out of his break. The ball is there before he was out of his break. That's elite level throwing. Like those things have to happen consistently, and we don't get that from any of our quarterbacks. So that's why you're going to see 6, 7, 8-man fronts. They're going to dare you to throw. They're going to play the run and dare you to throw at the same time. And that's why we have a bad offensive line. Yes, Mike McGlinchey has a problem.
Yeah.
We can acknowledge it. That's fine. We acknowledge him.
It's overblown because it happened in a big spot. Nah, it's overblown because it happened in a big spot.
I rewatched it. He didn't need to hold him. The ball was out. Like, what the fuck are you doing, Mike?
And then the other thing is that Jeff missed the chip. So if Jeff chips him on that, then Nick has enough time to get that out. That's what I took away from it. Yes, he was beat, and I feel like he already saw sweat going by him, so he panicked and he just wrapped him. But Jeff tried to chip him, and Jeff did what I would have did if I was playing football because I'm skinny. He went like that, and he just moved away from him, and then he ran out for his route. Like those are the small things, guys. That's it right there. But it just happened in a big spot.
Yeah, I'm not the biggest.
He did play bad though.
No, he did. Yeah. But that's the one that everybody's going to harp on, and it had it happen in a big spot. But what gets me upset is, and we've all discussed this outside of this, is those are simple, like, things that you can fix in your mind, right? Like that's the problem. And then, like, Jeff Wilson, even if he grazes Montez Sweat, it breaks him off enough where maybe that holding doesn't happen, maybe it's not seen, and Nick still gets the ball out. So it's all, like, this is what it all goes back to execution everywhere. This is what had me ripping my hair out when I watched this. All of these small things happening all over the place. Everybody wanting to blame something else other than the little minor details that continue to cost this team. Penalties, fumbles, missed assignments, missed bad blocking on the outside as far as runs go from the wide receivers, which we had never seen before last year. Like it's annoying. And it's all of those things. But then it's direct your energy towards the right things. Watch the game and figure out who is actually at fault before you start yelling about the coach, the defense, which, I don't know why anybody would say that, but all of those things. I'm sorry. I'm all worked up, yo. Yeah, come on.
They were better than fine.
I'm sorry. I'm all worked up. I apologize.
How much do you think Kittle not being out there affects the run blocking of the other guys? Because when you see your leader blocking the way Kittle blocks,
a lot.
Kittle's going to hold them accountable. Like, yo, what the fuck are you doing? Like, get your man, throw him in the ground. Like, let's go. Because we saw that all last year when the Niners were running over people. Debo's downfield. Emmanuel Sanders, you heard him in the NFC title game. I don't even care anymore, bro. I'll block for you all day. Like, there's a mentality there that's missing, too, with these wide receivers who aren't blocking. And I shouldn't even say mentality because I don't know their mental state. But you see it on tape, like, yo, if Kittle was out there, he'd be up their ass. Like, yo, what are you doing? Like, let's make these blocks. Like, come on.
Yeah, the coach was changing that way. Yeah, my bad.
I would say maybe with Kittle being there, Kendrick Bourne isn't in his own head for 3 straight series. That may be the difference.
Yeah.
By not having Kittle there, he's not able to get himself out of it because it's clear that he was in his own head, right? I'm sure we could all agree to that. We've all played some type of sport, whether if it was football, baseball, basketball, whatever, to where it's mental. And he didn't break out of that. That's why he had so many drops. That's why he had a false start. It was just mental. Maybe not having Kittle that because people underestimate Kittle's leadership because he's so just loose with it. He'll laugh, he'll joke with you the whole entire game. But that having someone to loosen you up during a game clears your mind. You're not as stressed out. You're not as, tightened up to where maybe Kendrick Bourne doesn't go off sides by having Kittle there just mentally.
He pressed in that moment. He was already upset about the drop, and he just pressed right there.
And then like that play, and it got negated. Like the McGlinchey hold, it's just like, damn, bro. Like KB did some things like nice grab too. The grab was the best part of it because it was behind him. He had to go up and get it,
right,
and then make a play. And his explosiveness looks much better than last year too.
Right,
when he had the ability to run after the catch.
Right, and then watch the top of the screen when it gets completed. Watch Jordan Reed. That's what I noticed. He's like this. Like, like he knew that Bourne was going to be out. Like, don't tell me these guys aren't, like, invested in trying to play, man. Like, I'm not talking about playing hard. I'm just talking about, like, he even knew right then what that play would have meant because that would have put them right there at the 20 with, like, a minute to go with a chance to really, like, threaten to tie this game. And then immediately once that happened, the game just ended from there. That's it.
I think Eddie just said it right here.
Yep.
When you don't have trust in your quarterback, it depletes the mental state of the offense. Nobody trusts and believes in the quarterback.
Leo, look, you said it. Javi said it. I've said it. We've all heard it from different places. We're not going to say where. If everybody's saying the same things about how they feel about the quarterback, don't you think he
All of them.
knows? Don't you think they all know? Don't you
Yeah.
think that that's something that, like, you know what? They're gonna go and press and say whatever they need to say, the correct thing. They all understand PR. It's all part of your contract. You got to do that. But if we're hearing all of these things from different sources close to the building, let's just say it like that, where there's smoke, there's fire. And that means everybody knows. Guys talk amongst each other. There's brothers on the team. Y'all all talk. When you guys are done and you're down, like when we get off of here, I'm not today, not talking professionally, but we talk professionally on here. But when we get off of here, we talk shit. You know,
Yeah.
like,
Yeah.
and you don't think that those guys do, and they, as amongst the team, they don't have that same vibe all around. Like, that is such a true point, man. Like, it's where there's smoke, there's fire. And when you hear from multiple people almost the same exact thing, then you know it's true. Not everybody's lying.
Yeah. And
Yeah.
you know what? I learned my lesson, I denied it with Jim Harbaugh. No, he ain't leaving. No. Where there's smoke, there's fire. If it's a repeated same narrative and it just keeps coming up and it keeps coming up, it keeps coming up. And the problem is it's been coming up since 2018. And we're 2020. I don't blame Kyle for not drafting another quarterback in those 3 years because you just paid a guy $74 million guaranteed. You're not going to do that. Right. But now,
Right.
this is it. This is your crossroads. Like, this is going to make or break your time in San Francisco. You either cut bait with Jimmy Garoppolo, either by cutting or trading him, or you keep the guy and you try to make this work, but you end up being mediocre. It just, there's no, at this point, the Niners have to take a chance, and like I said, with Jimmy, I defended him all summer. I was like, nah, man, he wins. We got this, we got that, but then you go and dig in a little bit deeper outside of just the superficial stats, like, oh, the 26 touchdowns and 13 interceptions and almost 4,000 yards. But then you start getting into the deeper analytics, the shit that you start to look at, and you start to watch the game tape. The numbers are not going to lie. And then you see him under pressure. There is an issue. You hear players on the opposing team saying, hey, we wanted them to throw. No one ever says that about any other quarterback in the league who's making the kind of money Jimmy Garoppolo is making. Oh, we want them to throw. Like, you want him to throw? Why do you want him to throw? Because you think he's going to make a mistake? Or you think he's going to, there's going to be a bad pass here or there? Yeah, they'd rather see that happen because the Niners run game was elite last year. It's a humongous part of why they won. It's just, we got to stop lying to ourselves. Some fans just got to stop lying to themselves.
And also, too, I think this is what got, I'm sorry, Leo. One more point. My bad, bro. I'm going crazy here.
I wanted to drink anyways.
All right. No, so the whole running back thing, right? I think that people underestimated how lucky the team was when it came to injuries last year and how that's not sustainable because it's just a game of numbers, like not to the degree that we saw the 49ers take injuries, but I think that everything lined up perfectly. Everyone just assumed that things were going to go that way.
Mm-hmm.
Everything went the 49ers way. No seasons like that. Now you throw in everything going against you. Like, that's the part that really got me upset about, oh, run it back. Like, that's why I've always been, and I'll continue to be negative about it. When you're there, you better win because I don't want to hear about when you're getting back if you ever get back. I'm tired of that.
Yeah. And you know what, real quick to add to that, the constant last year, even with all the injuries, you still had your constants. Nick Bosa was a constant player. George Kittle only missed 2 games, but he was a constant player. Jimmy Garoppolo didn't miss a game, constant player. Your interior offensive line for the most part outside of Richburg was constant. Like, yeah, Joe missed a couple games here and there, but he's still around. Mike missed 4 games, but you're constant, your big pieces were there.
Right.
If you have competent quarterback play, it's going to make all the difference. So Jimmy's going to get credit for being the competent quarterback that he is. But at this point, he needs to improve or we need to move on. Plain and simple. And that goes to all of them.
On the defensive side, Sherman missed a game, but he was still there. When he was out this year, he wasn't in the building. And it was obvious when he was not in the building on defense. Quan hurt, but he was still there. And he was a big energy guy last year. No matter, he came back and he was just really hurt in the playoffs, and that showed on his play. But he was a big energy guy. He was big for Fred Warner. He was big for Drake Greenlaw. He was still there in the building. Now he's not even there in the building. And then what was I going to say is, I'm tired of the offensive line being overblown. You posted it today, Hobby. Block efficiency rate That means the offensive line is doing a better job at defending the pass rush this year than last year. So we could talk about, the O-line this, Mike McGlinchey this. There was how many passes out there yesterday that were left on the table between drops and overthrows?
Countless.
How
or
many?
just holding it.
And yeah, you said alone. What's crappy is I believe Nick Mullins accounting for those sacks and just double pumping is going to go against the offensive line. Is that how that efficiency rate
I think it.
works?
I
Yeah.
think so.
So like they could be a top 15 offensive line if they had a competent quarterback. And then yesterday is people go, oh, why are you guys pumping up Zach Wilson so much? Because the guy could freaking move. All right,
Moved us enough.
There was plays yesterday to where I said, wow, if they had someone that could move, that's not a sack. Nick Mullins can't move, so that was a sack. That's the issue here.
Mm-hmm. And
again, mobile doesn't mean Kyler Murray. Again, guys, I'll say it again. Like, mobile means maneuver the pocket and be smart. Create yourself another second to throw the ball.
Mobile means Alex Smith before the leg injury.
Right. Like, enough. Just do enough.
And like I said, 10% increase in quarterback play, and that's
it.
We're not asking for much. I'm not asking for Patrick Mahomes. I have the Patrick Mahomes of head coaches and offensive play callers. Like, he's going to get guys open and make things happen. So, the next guy who comes in, if there is a next guy, if Jimmy's back, cool. But Jimmy's got to be better. But putting this all in the back of the offensive line is just lazy, and it's something that gets pushed for whatever reason to move the blame off of the quarterback. But Nick Mullins can't move, and Nick Mullins doesn't process the field well. Jimmy can move a little bit, but he had his injury this year, so that's part of it. But at the end of the day, this team just needs to upgrade the quarterback position, because defenses are going to continue to do what they do versus this offense. They're going to stack the box to try to stop the run. They're going to dare Jimmy Garoppolo to throw outside the numbers till he proves otherwise that he can. And we're going to end up being in the QB purgatory where we're 8-8, 7-9, 9-7. Is that what 49ers fans want? Or, are they going to continue to be, he wins a lot of games. Okay. But you're going to stay in purgatory at 500 for the next 2-3 years because you don't want to upgrade the quarterback spot. Like, get off it. You saw Carson Wentz was benched, and then the Eagles win a game the following week. Why? Because the quarterback played about 10 to 15% better than Carson Wentz did. It happens every year. Alex Smith benched for injury, and then what happened? Niners went to the Super Bowl. Like, it happens, man. I'm not attached to the name on the back of the jersey unless it's Frank Gore, Patrick Willis, or Joe Staley.
Yeah.
Like, be real.
To answer this, if we draft a QB, you want him to start week 1. Well,
if he's the right guy.
Yeah. Trey Lance, I would probably say, depends how he looks in camp. Depends how he picks up the playbook. But he's someone that can start week 1. Ideally, if I'm taking someone in the first round, I would want him to start week 1.
You have to.
I would. And I think if the 49ers get Trey Lance, if they're drafting a quarterback in the first round, Jimmy's gone. They're not using a first round pick and keeping Jimmy. So I know that narrative has been thrown out there. It's not going to happen. If you're keeping Jimmy, you're drafting a different position in the first round. So that means if Jimmy's gone, you're going to have Trey Lance or either Zach Wilson. We throw out those two names because Justin Fields, it's not going to happen. Trevor Lawrence, it's not going to happen. So with those two guys, even Mac Jones, if somebody just wants to say Mac Jones, one if he's a Shanahan guy, whatever. So between those three quarterbacks, I think if you get them in camp, they're going to look so much better than C.J. Beathard and Nick Mullins. There's no way you could. Well, C.J.'s probably he's probably gone. So Nick
he's
Mullins
here because
restricted.
of COVID.
Yeah. So they're going to look so much better than Nick Mullins, to where you're going to tell your team we're going with Nick week 1. That you're not embracing a winning culture if you go, hey, we're going to go with Nick week 1. We saw what he did to you guys all last season from a wide receiver standpoint. We saw what, those throws all last season, but we're still going to go for him week 1.
You know what it is too?
You can't.
You know what it is too? Is like point to Joe Burrow, and I understand that he's a Heisman, winner, and I understand that he was the number 1 overall pick. But when you assess the Bengals and you watch them, the fact that he was able to even win 2 games with what the hell's going on over there is a testament to he just won them 2 games like himself. That's what Joe Burrow did, right? Like, and he was thrown into a situation where the line is garbage, the play calling is trash. They have no sort of figuring of how they want to use their wide receivers. They're still stuck to AJ Green, and he was able to go in there and do that. That's what I'm talking about. Again, again, I have no doubt in my mind that if a rookie was pressed into duty, and was sent, they would say, you know what, we're going to strip this playbook down and make sure that it's something that you can utilize and you can use, and he'll be put in the best position. Again, Kyle Shanahan's putting guys in positions to win. They're just not winning because of how they're playing. Now you have to suspect that a rookie can play just as well as Nick Mullins this year. Are we agreed on that?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Probably, yes. That's the point. That's the point, right? So, like, if Jimmy's not here and you have Nick Mullins and a rookie, I already know what Nick Mullins can do. I've seen it. We know. Third most passing yards. Him, Luck, and Mahomes. That's his thing, right? Got it. I want to
see it's M Pimp juicing us. You know what I'm saying?
Right. Yeah.
Yeah, and for people to say it's well, Patrick Mahomes sat a year. It's he has freaking Andy Reid, Tyreek Hill, Travis Kelce. Are we going to say that if he would have started his rookie year, he would have been bad? No. The dude still would have balled out if he started as a rookie.
Yeah.
Deshaun Watson was amazing as a rookie.
You know what it is that the coaches have this, the old school, everybody has this, like, it's all built in, like your mentality. You get a rookie quarterback, you got to bench him. You gotta let him sit for a year. There's no way you can throw him into the fire. Like that's that old mentality. And then as soon as they get pressed into duty 5-6 games in, you're like, Watson's my starter. Oh yeah, this guy's my starter. Like, dummy. The same thing. Look, Anthony Lynn. I like the guy, right? Everybody wants to give him crap or whatever. But you really watched Tyrod Taylor and you watched Justin Herbert and you said, I'm rolling Tyrod Taylor. He gives us a better chance to win.
Politics.
Of course it is, but I'm just saying, like, but it's not only there, right? Like, look, in KC, that's a perfect situation, right? But then there's also this narrative about, well, if Rodgers would have came here and he would have dealt with what Alex Smith dealt with. Stop it. Yes, he had a chance to lead. He had a chance to be behind, far, but stop it. You know what I mean? Like, that's what I'm talking about.
Talent transcends talent. You know what I mean?
That's what I'm saying.
Cream always rises to the top. With me, the way I evaluate quarterbacks, I used to just look at a couple of different things, but now a buddy of mine kind of put me on to how a quarterback hits a moving target. And that's why I'm in love with Zach Wilson and I like Trey Lance. And I even like Mac Jones. I'm starting to watch Mac Jones more often. He sent me this, he sent me the thing. Shout out to my boy Zach. He said, I can see how people fell in love with Mr. Trubisky in college, was really mobile, uncorked some passes that went deep and had some short missiles to prove that he had arm strength. Completed a lot of passes, but he hit so many guys that were standing still or moving close to the line of scrimmage. Sound familiar? Once you get past the 10 yards downfield, he was not hitting guys in stride. Corners, if they were more talented, had opportunities to get back into plays. They didn't because it's Clemson ACC type of defenses. His receivers were breaking their strides, trying to block guys out, bailing him out. Jimmy was a little bit better in college, didn't have the mobility as Trubisky. Could hit guys in stride if they're already running open. That's college. And he could throw a flat ball, no underneath coverage, but some similar issues, lots of the dig routes and short passes, not all hitting guys on the move. So when you look at guys like Deshaun Watson, constantly hitting guys on the move, Mahomes hitting guys on the move, Wilson hitting guys on the move, Trey Lance hitting guys on the move, Mac Jones hitting guys on the move. These are the things that I'm talking about when I'm looking at quarterbacks. Jimmy Garoppolo has that issue still. If anyone ever wants to go back and look at Jimmy Garoppolo's college stats, he hasn't changed. He's the same guy outside of his senior year at Eastern Illinois. It's a 2-to-1 interception ratio or 1-to-1 interception ratio. This might be who he is. And with all our quarterbacks, none of them hit guys in stride.
Yeah,
none of them.
So what Eddie says here is it brings me back to that quarterback sitting a year. We heard how the offense took off when Pat came in. Alex Smith limits the offense capabilities like Jimmy G and Nick. Well,
correct.
I find this funny because offense, Patrick Mahomes is a completely different quarterback than what Alex Smith was. Aaron Rodgers, completely different quarterback than what Brett Favre was. So, yeah, they sat for some time, but it's not like they got molded into that same type of quarterback. What you said, Hobby, cream rises to the top. If it really helped them out so much, Aaron Rodgers would have been a Brett Favre and throw 20 interceptions a season. Why? Because he has the arm talent to play like a Brett Favre and just say, I'm going to sling it wherever I can.
Yeah, I think Aaron was just smarter than Brett, and I think you see that too, because Brett was so aggressive, but Rodgers is to quote our great leader John Lynch, Rodgers is aggressively prudent with where he places the ball.
Yes.
Right? Like that's elite. Like
I love that.
That's that's just kind of how Rodgers is. He's going to be. What does he get? He has what 400 touchdowns and like 90 interceptions.
It's insane.
Yeah.
And you said you watched to it. You're bored by it. That's why he's so great, right? It's
beautiful.
Boring. Right. 35-3, and you're like, yeah, whatever. It's Rodgers, bro.
You expect it,
right?
I can't remember who, but somebody went over the stat as far as like every other quarterback's career interceptions once they hit 400 touchdowns. Bunch of those quarterbacks were in the hundreds, 200s, 300s. Aaron Rodgers was at like 83.
Yeah, it's insane.
And spare me, and in before anybody in the comments says he throws the ball away a lot. In before you say that. No, that's not why. That is not why.
I would take that. You live to see another down.
That's and that's what I wish. Now let's bring it full circle. When is someone going to tell that Nick Mullins taking a sack or throwing the ball away is fine sometimes?
What college did he go to?
Southern.
Yeah. Well, just because you wear 4 and you wear a bunch of and you wear Wrangler jeans and you went to the same place, you are not built like Favre, bruh. So
the issue with that is Favre could throw 20 interceptions a season and throw 35 touchdowns. Nick Mullins could throw 20 interceptions in a season and throw 18 touchdowns. That's the missing link here. So stop.
Back up
exactly
in
what you said. Exactly stop playing like Brett Favre. You're not him.
Best backup in the game, bro.
Yeah.
I'm just tired of watching bad quarterback play, man. It's been so long.
Yeah, and then the worst part is that look, it's one thing to like be losing and everything, at least be entertaining. Like when I realized halfway through the third quarter that there was 20 more minutes left in the game, I really felt sad. Like I was like, I can't believe that like there's more. Like it's not done. There's more, and there's a ton more. There's a whole quarter. Like I was just like, this isn't fun. I don't want to watch this. Like if you're gonna be bad, at least be entertaining. There's plenty of teams that are gonna lose games and not execute, but they find ways to be entertaining. Yeah. This offense is not entertaining. It's dull, and that's I think probably where I have my issue or whatever. It just shouldn't be like this, man.
That's where Kyle is going nuts. He's like, I have these guys open. Ayuk is open all the time.
All the time.
All the time. He don't got a quarterback to hit him, and he's still getting 119 yards.
Dude, here's the play. Right, the pick six, right? Just watched it. The pick six. Okay, so I understand the miscommunication era, everything, right? I get it, and yes, at that point you're pressed into like trying to make a play because, like I said, from the second to third quarter, that football was some of the worst 49er offensive football I've seen in a long time. And when you factor in who's the play caller, it makes it even worse. Okay, so that play, right? Clearly, Juice looks at him. They look at each other, and he thinks that when he looks at Nick, he's going that way. He just throws it right to where he was, right? Miscommunication. I have a bigger issue. In the flat, at the sticks, to your left, uncovered is your first down, dude. Like, what? Like, when are you going to start working as this computer that people are hyping you up as? Look, I hate to be that guy. I don't know the reads on all the plays. Fine. If you want to call me out, correct me. That's fine. But damn it, there's a safety valve on every single play for you, dude. And why don't you know it on both sides? My God, man. Oh, my. And when I saw look, you see the pick and you laugh, right? Because you're just like, whatever, what's next? But just when I watched it again on the all 22, it pisses me off because he's right there to the left of you, right there. Anyone could have made that throw. Oh, whatever. I'm sorry, I got it out.
Hey, we know someone that
is that Andrews burner.
Andrews burner hitting right here. If the 49ers had Winston, they may have won the Super Bowl last year.
Which Winston? LASIK Jameis or the one who's squinting Jameis?
Crab legs, I think, right? Because at least he presses the ball down the field. He probably would have hit Sanders on that TD.
The thing is, Jameis would have had them up 7 late in the fourth and throw 2 immediate pick sixes that lose the game. That would have been
guys,
classic Jameis.
With guys like Jameis has elite, arm talent, but his mental processing is just so.
Is that you or me, Leo?
I think
that's you. Oh yeah, no, you froze for a bit, real quick, Javi.
Oh, I did?
No, Javi did.
Okay.
I'm good. No, I said with Jameis, he's got elite traits, but mentally it's just not all there. He's he's going to make dumb mistakes, and I don't think it had to do anything to do with his vision. But
Okay, since we were talking about Brett Favre, he's more of a Brett Favre than what
Yeah.
Nick Mullins will ever
For
be.
sure.
yeah,
For sure.
But
sure.
he's
Also-
just like the great value Walmart section of Brett Favre.
also I'm probably gonna piss off a subset of 49ers fan base.
Let's go.
Kirk Cousins would have been much better for this offense.
Let's talk about it. You know what his team would be if Kirk Cousins was the quarterback?
That Minnesota defense is bad.
Very
Mhm.
bad. And I think
They
people
had
don't really
one good
understand
game against the Packers, one good game, and guess what? They won. They won. Isn't that weird? I find
So
that weird.
Kirk Cousins with whatever weapons, even this offensive line, this team probably has lost 2 games this
I
year.
think so. Yeah,
Not
I
even
think so.
and you know what? I'll give you the Bosa injury.
Yeah,
Make sure you send me this video so I can cut the clip and I can put it up so people would just see it so I can piss people off. But yes, guys, what you everybody wants to be Kirk Cousins the punching bag. He was great last week against Tampa yesterday. Did you guys watch him? Do you guys watch him?
There's,
He was good.
This is something that I'm learning. As a fan.
Damn it.
Oh man, we're not gonna figure out what he
Floater
learned.
and freeze.
I know. No, Gad, you're
Yeah,
good.
no,
now.
my thing's freeze. No, what I've learned doing this media stuff and talking to people, we got to stop with these narratives associated with name recognition. Like, yes, Kirk Cousins' name is tied to so much bullshit, that you like that and certain things like that. But when you go back and look at his career numbers for a 4th-round pick and what he's doing this year, he's playing like a top 10 quarterback, but we associate him because of his name. And he is a goofball. He's corny. He has some dumbass statements about COVID. Like those things like that make people's perspective on them change. And I think Kirk, watching him this year and watching him last year, Kirk was fine. But he's also like a Jimmy Garoppolo. You do need some other things to help him out.
Yes.
Like a defense, like a run game.
Yes.
With the Vikings right now, they have Dalvin Cook, who's got 15 touchdowns.
Yeah.
So that's going to help you out. But when they need him to make a throw, he'll make at least he'll attempt the throw.
He made 2 in New Orleans. A deep throw that I probably have never seen hit any in a long time by any quarterback on this roster, the one to Thielen, which set up the Rudolph one. Like that deep one is the one that you really should be excited for. That Rudolph one is just toss it, you push down the smaller guy and Kyle Rudolph gets a jump ball. But that one over the middle where it fell before the goal line, that's a throw I haven't seen a quarterback on the 49ers make for a long time.
Yeah, and the thing is, like, the 49ers defense just destroyed Kirk Cousins last year. Destroyed them. They barely even put up points. But guess what? They did that twice to Aaron Rodgers.
Right.
And yet everyone will fall over love for Aaron Rodgers than they would for Kirk Cousins.
So
Kirk Cousins nowhere near the top 5 as far as quarterbacks, but
We're not
what
saying
we're
that.
saying is the tools he has on offense and what the 49ers have on defense, they would be and I was blind to this in the offseason. I was really, really, really blind to this. They would be more of a winning team with Cousins than they would with Jim. And that
Right.
kind of hurts to say. Like, I got to go brush
Maybe
my
Kyle was
teeth
right.
real quick.
See, but here,
Maybe-
pull this one up. Pull this one up. My bad. Horatio, you're my guy and everything, but I wanna explain a little bit of something. So just because the stats look the same there at the end, that doesn't value when the throws came and in what situations, right? And I just told you about a play in a divisional game where they knocked off the Saints in a place that they never beat them, and Kirk has never won one of those games. He made the throw in overtime to make the throw in overtime, right? So the stats may look identical, but not every throw is created equal. Not every situation is created equal. That's why you need the context and the nuance. So let's say he had, how many more yards, but the 49ers lost, and Cousins had 75 more yards, but on the last drive, he was perfect, and he went down the field and finished the game. Which is the one that you want? See, that's the point. That's the problem with stats. It doesn't line up with everything. It doesn't tell the whole story. So stats look the same because they're similar quarterbacks, but the stats aren't the same as far as being impactful. Yeah. You the man, Horatio, though. I'm just trying to explain, my thoughts on the comment.
I mean, and part of it is too, he's healthy. That's
Damn it.
Yeah. He. I'm gonna finish what he's saying. Cousins rarely
healthy.
misses games. Yeah,
Right. That's the thing too.
rarely misses games. So
So
that's
Cousins-
added into it.
Cousins. So 2018, 4,200 yards, 30 touchdowns, 10 interceptions. 2019, 26 touchdowns, 6 interceptions, 3,600 yards. So far this year, 3,300 yards, 27 and 12. And he got 3 games left. He's going to get to 34, 32.
What since you have it up, what was his stats in 2017? Because in 2017 he had zero playmakers in Washington. None.
4,000, 4,100, and then 27 and 13. Maybe Kyle can evaluate quarterbacks.
He had no Kittle.
And he can get the most out of guys he has on his roster. You know, we got to stop talking bad about Kyle.
So that's basically what Jimmy did, but except he had no Kittle, he had no Debo,
no Jordan Reed,
Emmanuel Sanders, and he had no Mostert out of the backfield.
Emmanuel Sanders works better though. Like I think that Emmanuel Sanders that works better than Sanders.
It does. Yeah. Thank you. Appreciate
it. Yeah. I don't know, guys. Like at this point, like we're just trying to talk through it or whatever. But yeah, man. It's on Kyle Shanahan's birthday. You have to like wake up and see the comments on the 49ers thing. Everything is get this man a quarterback. Get this man a quarterback. Look, man, I don't know. Like I said, I didn't even know it was his birthday. I just woke up this morning and I think it was like 1 or 2 tweets that I saw that were like in somewhat talking crazy about the way Kyle called the game and everything. And I was just like, I couldn't hold it in. I couldn't. Today wasn't the day. Like, and just, I feel like I'm going to feel like this for a few days as long as I keep seeing it. It's just like, guys, again, I don't know what you want somebody to do when they're calling the correct play and the play is just getting blown up or like either overthrown or just completely missed. Like, what are you supposed to do, man? Like, I think we just have to think about it the right way. So, yep.
Oh, hell no.
Trade Kyle for. So, Mike McCarthy and Mike Nolan and Jim Tonsula and the gang are here this week.
Listen, I would root for the Dallas Cowboys if Kyle went to Dallas, if he did that. Because Dak Prescott with Kyle Shanahan, the league is over. And those wide receiver weapons and Zeke, yeah, McCarthy's a waste.
Yeah, so that everyone knows that's tuned in. Friday, preview show, Cowboys. Quick minute. Eddie he's a troll in the comments. He loves being a troll. But he actually knows his shit, especially when it comes to the Cowboys, because that's his team. USC, that's his team. So we're going to have him on Friday so that we could understand how bad the Cowboys are when we play them, and then we could look at it and be like, yeah, Kyle needs a quarterback. Well, once we see that final game score.
Yeah. Half a game out of that 4 spot. So I'll just keep saying it.
I look at that, the win-loss record, or excuse me, the strength of schedule is basically like a game and a half. For the 49ers. It's almost like 2.5 games. Yeah. Because those other teams are like 469 while the 49ers are at like 540.
Not if guys start winning. Jacksonville's got Minshew back. They reel off 4 straight. You know what I mean? Like, hey man, let's go. Let's get
Jacksonville. Jacksonville really said, fuck it, we're going for Trevor Lawrence or Justin Fields. Like, why the hell did they bench Minshew in the beginning? Why?
Well, he's not good, but I mean I think you need to stick to the tank. No, he's not.
He's not, but if you look at it from an analytical standpoint, he was a better passer. He was a better passer than Kyler Murray.
Javi.
Actually.
But who has better hair? That's the question you need to ask, Javi.
I think CJ's got better hair.
Yeah, because it's lighter, right? Like it just looks more luxurious. Like right. That's what I'm saying. He's got like a sophisticated mullet. Like I think that's why he's still on this roster.
It's very California-ish.
Right, correct. Even though he's from Iowa.
Yeah, and then I don't like Minshew's mustache. It's like
oh, you ain't with the Fu Man?
Nah. It's like meeting your girl's dad. Your typical, Mexican dad. Hey, I can say it.
You can
say it.
We're Puerto Rican.
It. We all. I was gonna say we're all Latin. So
or any
Jason
Latin
kind of.
Any Latin theo at the party.
You didn't have to do that here. You could have did that offline, and it would have been better. Damn it.
It's all good.
No, you got me.
Yeah, I think we're just gonna wrap it up on that there. Yeah. Unfortunately, it wasn't what we wanted for the whole season. I'm not gonna say for the Washington football team game because hey, now we get closer to Zach Wilson. Maybe if we have to trade up 2 spots compared to 10 spots. But as far as the season goes, it's not what we wanted. Hang with us. We're gonna ride this shit because Kyle Shanahan is the head coach of this damn football team.
Yep.
Not
He
the
better be
Washington
for a
one,
while.
the
He
San
better be
Francisco
for a
football
while.
team.
You know what's the worst part? You know what? One last thing, media narrative, right? They were like, Ron Rivera coached the hell up out of these guys. I was like, yeah, you sure coached the hell up out of fumbles and interceptions returned for touchdown. Nice job. Like, come on, man. Like I understand you want to give credit because he's changed the culture, but they made it seem like he did this amazing job. And it's like, bro, they played their base defense like the whole game and they just like did regular stuff. Like
Played against Nick Mullins.
Right. but they were like, this guy might be able to coach. Well, we knew that already. This wasn't the game that showed it, I don't think.
Yeah, no. He got his ass kicked last year against the healthy Niners team. Like, come on.
That's what I'm talking. That's just like whatever. Thank you.
Yeah.
Whatever. I already got on my rant side. I'm good, boys. We're gonna talk better in the text.
Yeah, and if you missed out on the show, like you said here, just go into YouTube, Tapped In Sports. Like I said, just watch the show from there now on because was it Periscope? It's just gonna buffer the hell out of you. It's probably gonna stop you in Javi's rant or Jason's rant mid-sentence. So just go into YouTube. If you got to go grab a beer out the fridge, you could just pause it, jump right back into it.
Word.
Thank you guys for tuning in.
Peace.
Later.